Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And I've got some great news which brings me absolute bags of joy and pleasure. It is just one of the best things you could hear on a Friday afternoon. And I know for sure it's going to bring you joy too. It's breaking news, it's brand new, and you just want to hit that like button right now. And while you're hitting the like button, if you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. This is a story that is going to run and run and run. And it's great that it happens on the start of the SNP conference. Police have just announced that there is a new police investigation. It's called Operation Broadcroft, and it is probing the sexual mishandling or misconduct claims against Alex Salmond by the SNP. In other words, they know because Alex Salmond was innocent that these claims were false, and they're now looking in to see why the administration did it and if Sturgeon was behind it, and if so, they're going to look to bring her some bag full of criminal charges. Sturgeon herself is named in the action. This is absolutely wonderful news. The police are probing, I'll just read this to you. The police are probing whether a senior civil servant gave a false statement under oath to an inquiry set up to investigate sexual misconduct allegations involving Alex Salmond. Lawyer Gordon Dangerfield told a court session hearing today that detectives are probing the alleged conduct of James Hind, and Mr. Dangerfield is representing the former First Minister in an action which he has brought against the Scottish Government. Now, this is the case where he's going for £3 million against them because of this. We know that lies, by definition of what's happened, lies must have been told, and they must have been told under oath. And it also looks like it could have been deliberately set up and arranged for these claims to have been made and for statements given, false statements given. And if it was, of course, at the behest of and under the orders from Nicola Sturgeon, then she's on the hook for this. Mr. Salmond is seeking significant damages and compensation for loss of earnings that could total millions of pounds from ministers. He is alleging malfeasance by various former and current Scottish Government civil servants, with his legal team arguing that they conducted themselves improperly, in bad faith and beyond their powers, with the intention of injuring Mr. Salmond. And they say this happened during a botched investigation carried out by civil servants over claims that the ex-SNP leader acted inappropriately towards a number of women during his time in office. Of course, he had his court case and he won. Now, this is absolutely gold, isn't it? This is gold. Another investigation into the SNP by the police, and with Nicola Sturgeon herself named in the actual investigation as a person of interest. I just can't wait to see what happens here. This is one of those where there's no way out. There is literally no way out because somebody had to have broke the law. It's because he was innocent and those claims were made. Somebody lied and somebody's responsible. Now, we all know Sturgeon has constantly and vigorously denied being any part of this. But her and Liz Lloyd were very, very chummy at the time. And then there's various women that came forward. And I can't remember the name of the woman it was, but I believe, possibly allegedly, cover myself, that one of the women has admitted that there was no actual mistreatment by Alex Salmond, but that she was forced into it or pushed into it by senior people in the SNP. Anyway, among those named in the present action, this Operation Broadcroft, are Miss Sturgeon, his successor as the SNP leader, obviously, And Leslie Evans, the Scottish Government's former permanent secretary, although Sturgeon says she utterly refutes his claims. I believe she doesn't refute them. I believe she repudiates them, but that's a different thing. Anyway, Mr. Salmon's lawyers claim they're taking part in the criminal leaking of confidential documents, the concealment of documents in defiance of court orders, and a criminal warrant, the misleading of the court during judicial review proceedings, the soliciting of false criminal complaints, and ultimately the commission of perjury at a parliamentary inquiry. These are all jailable offences. This is one of those. This is one of those stories. It's going to run. I mean, this is going to run. But the very fact that this is happening on the day the SNP conference opens, the timing is perfect, isn't it? The timing is absolutely a rapid slap in the face with a wet fish. Maybe a salmon. Maybe a sturgeon. Who knows? Oh, there's no place for that kind of humour. Yeah. So there we go. Like I say, this is the story it's going to run. This is ongoing now. So we've got the court case that we're going to have to be reporting on at last, finally. And, of course, now we're going to have to keep an eye on Operation Broadcroft. And we'll have to see if Sturgeon and any of the others, of course, will be arrested and interviewed by police, charged. This is just... Oh, it's great, isn't it? It's great. I mean, it couldn't happen on a better time. It just couldn't. Anyway, Salmon... Miss Shand moved for Salmon to pay for the legal costs of today's hearing. Mr. Dangerfield, and Miss Shand is the defence, Mr. Dangerfield asked Lord Fairley to reserve expenses until the hearing was concluded. In other words, loser pays. And Lord Fairley awarded expenses to Miss Shand and made reference to what happened in the run-up to Friday's hearing, blah, blah, blah. So they're just going into some legalese and waffle surrounding it, but nothing there that's major. But, yeah, I mean, the fact that you've got both the case and now the investigation is remarkable. And I think that Sturgeon will know right now that she could be in serious trouble. Because if these women who were coerced into making these claims allegedly do turn around and say, look, Your Honour, I'll cut a deal, we'll name names, we'll say what happened and tell the truth now for either a slap on the wrist or a let off or something like that, turn king's evidence sort of thing, then they're all going to point the finger, aren't they? And they're all going to point the finger in the same direction to a very strange, short, miserable, dour-faced woman who used to be powerful. And she'll have that look, won't she? She'll have that glum, wee look. Stay tuned. More to come. Thanks very much. Bye.